Too great, too great, too great, too great.
We're going to start let's start at the top. My name is Dino. I'm a producer from South Carolina. I go by. Let's start at the top. What's going on, everybody? This is Dino from Columbia, South Carolina. I'm an American producer. Goes by the name Black Ghost. I have a production company called Third Movement Production. And one of the reasons that you have not heard of me yet is because I, through my own devices, have had issues with consistency. And you guys, are going to help me with my accountability. So let's go on a journey. First things first, though, I need to open this ring light. So I guess this will be an unboxing for the first episode. Got this from Walmart, as you can see. We're going to see what this is about. Did not know that this was an Acer ring light. That's interesting. I don't know if you can see that. Acer is a computer company who made cheap computers. So we'll see what their ring lights are talking about. Huh. So it turns out this is a monitor, which is very, very interesting because I ordered a ring light. So let's see what's going on here. Yep, still looking pretty monitory. Yep, I'm pretty sure this is a monitor, which is mind-blowing. Like I said, I ordered a ring light. So now, what I'm going to have to do is return it. So the first thing we're going to do on this episode is figure out this return policy. Because WTF, mate. So this is the first time that I've ever gotten the wrong package. I've never really been too much of an online shopper for this reason. So now I have to figure out how to send this bad boy back and do it free, because shipping and handling to send something back that I didn't order in the first place sounds ridiculous. All right, well, first thing I want to do is check the labels to make sure that it was, first of all, supposed to be sent to me. Pretty sure it has my name on the outside, though. Yep, that's me. So I've got to figure out how to send this bad boy back sooner rather than later. Granted, it's my own fault because I've actually had this package here for probably about 10, 15 days now, and I've just been kind of making making music in lieu of starting this podcast, and this is the reason why. Things happen, but as is life. So I guess for the next episode, hopefully by then, I have me a ring light and some better lighting because I know all this in the background is kind of one distracting and two light is just the lighting is terrible. But at the same time, I'm currently at my mother's house because I have a boot in my foot. Why do I have a boot in my foot? Well, let me tell you the story. So I was riding my motorcycle. That should really just justify sum up the whole story. But riding my motorcycle on the highway, slipped on some gravel, loose gravel that was in the road, and fell off, fell unconscious, and woke up in the hospital with a broken neck and a broken leg. So, yeah, the broken leg wasn't too much of an issue. It was the fact that I had lacerations uh, all the way down to my ankle bone, which pretty much means I had skinned my foot all the way down to the bone. um, I'm pretty much in the last 2 weeks of the healing process. Hopefully, and the top of next month, I'll be able to go to the doctor and they'll let me know, hey, you can take your boot off and then you can start walking around. Because currently, I cannot put any pressure on this foot, which is causing me to miss work. I've been out of work for just about 3 months now. Well, about 2.5 months. Um, and I'm really, really anxious to get back because after I have a really, really good healthcare plan at my job, but after the first 6 weeks of me being absent or taking a leave of absent, I only get 60% of my check, which essentially just covers my rent, which is ironic because I'm not home. I am at my mother's house because I can't put any pressure on this foot. I can't go upstairs, and of course, I live on the third floor. Fun times for me. So I've been spending most of my time essentially just sitting here trying to heal, making sure I do the right things to make sure that, nothing worse happens to the foot, no infections or anything like that. I've been doing what they call daily changes of my dressings to make sure that, essentially just switching the band-aids out to make sure that it heals properly. Um, so within that, I've been essentially a homebody because I can't go upstairs. I'm walking essentially with a walker that they told me at the hospital that I wouldn't have to pay for, and then sent me a bill last week for about $150. You guys are liars. But anyways, off of that, shout out to the hospital staff though that put me back together. Thank you guys for not letting me die. um, but yeah, so essentially I've just been here trying to make music, trying to get to that next level of your Metro Boomins or your Zaytovens and everybody else in the world that has placements and followers, fans, and essentially a support system. Um, I went to school for audio engineering, and um, the thing was, I didn't go into audio engineering until after I had failed out of regular engineering. So I went to school at Clemson University, go Tigers, um, for essentially mechanical engineering. Because my mother told me that she would not support me if I were to do anything musically. She always had uh, essentially a negative connotation of musicians and artists in general because of the term starving artist. And so she liked to throw that phrase around for a good bit of my life. So I've had to kind of grow up in that. And that's part of the reason why I've always been dibbling and dabbling in music, but never really fully focused on it. So my plan is to take this, hold myself accountable to continue to create, to continue to be as consistent as I can. I've been doing music for a really, really long time. I've been in band all my life in school. And if I wasn't in band, I was in chorus in elementary school. So came up from chorus, went to band in middle school, marching band in high school, and then marching band again in at college. And within those, band years, I've met a lot of people that, are musically inclined. And one of the people that I met over the years, I actually met in high school, my homeboy, my best friend, my brother, from another mother, Ryan, aka Below Zero. He was actually one of the first ones that kind of believed in me and my craft to put music together to actually, make it work. Man, this looks terrible. Um, but yeah, so essentially, I've just been trying to, um, stay on that positive track, or gain traction, I should say, in that direction. He was actually one of the first people to put me on stage. Um, Actually, now that I think about it, backing up a little bit. Now, Ryan wasn't actually one of the first ones to put me on stage, because when I was in college, that's when I actually got my first kind of, I guess you would call it, a break. um, in the music industry. I was in my room making beats one day, and a guy named Cornelius. Shouts out to Cornelius. Yeah, you you one of the when you one of the ones that actually set this train in motion. So I appreciate you for that. But he introduced me to a guy named uh, R Dub, who was actually doing local music, essentially, and the pubs and the stages, and a lot of places over there in the Clemson Greenville area. So he was able to facilitate a meetup between me and R Dub. Met with him, and that's kind of where my professional music career kind of took off. Um, so yeah, starting from there, um, I started producing tracks for R Dub. Then he wanted me to go ahead and be his DJ, so I was the DJ and the producer for a couple of the live shows, and I got some tracks produced on a couple of his albums. So that was kind of where my professional start started. And then from there, once I got out of college, came back to Columbia, and me and Ryan linked up again to get some musical traction going on his foot, because he was an artist down here as well, and he facilitated a lot of the shows that we ended up doing, and a lot of the recognition that we got. A lot of it was through him doing what he does. He's an artist, he was a rapper, he was a producer. So essentially, we kind of switched up, swapped out skills. I would teach him about the production, and he would teach me about the lyricism, and we were just the package deal. We were essentially trying to be the next outcast to come out of Columbia. So that was the plan. We never wanted to do anything regular, degular. We never wanted to really follow the crowd. We always wanted to just kind of do our own thing, and that led to some pretty good opportunities. We got a couple of spots on some stages. Um, we really kind of just fell into the music scene so that we could try to spread our wings when it comes to that aspect. So we even got to the point where we were doing we were in beat battles. Um, so coming up musically, that's pretty much all I've done. Everything else has just kind of been a side gig for me. Ironically enough, because if you think about it, if you look at it from the outside, it looks like music is the side gig for me. But to be honest with you, I've always had the passion for the music over everything else. So it's always been in my mind like, yeah, I do music, and then I work this job on the side, or yeah, I do music, but then I do this, that, or the third on the side. So it's always been music for me, um, and that is where kind of things started to take off. We did a couple of shows pretty much all over Colombia and got to meet a lot of great people. Um, we were actually one of the first hip hop artists to record at the studio called Jam Room Studios, which is essentially primarily a rock and live show type or a live sound type of environment. And we were the ones who kind of brought the hip hop to that kind of area and space. So much so that they actually have a what they call the boom room side of the Jam Room Studios, which primarily focuses on hip hop. That's run by the artist formerly known as Fat Rat the Czar. We knew him as Fat Rat the Czar. Shouts out to Fat Rat because he also has been a major influence on the music scene in Colombia as one of the original hip hop artists that have been pounding the ground trying to get the sound out. So shouts out to Fat, or the artist formerly known as Fat. He goes by Master Splinter now, so you know he's the master. He's pretty much the KRS-One of, of Colombia. So shouts out to the greats. You know what I mean? But that was a little background of what I got going on. So right now we're going to take you on a journey and uh, see where we can go with it. My plan is to like I said to make it up there to try to get some placements to try to make sure that everything that I'm doing as far as the music scene or as far as the role that I'm trying to play in the music scene is a substantial one. And you're gonna come along with it and on that journey. Like I said, I need you guys to help me be accountable. But aside from that, um, I gotta take this monitor back and then get some ring lights. So hopefully on that next episode, we'll be able to figure out what's going on with that. But until then, if you want to check out some of my sounds, I am on SoundCloud. Um, I will leave the link below. Uh, Find me there as Black Ghost. I've got quotes around it because there are so many Black Ghost producers, but there's not really any that I've heard until I went to go search my own name. So I feel like I still have a chance to, kind of make my Black Ghost or my particular persona be the one that kind of outshines and uh, outplacements everybody else so that I can officially become the Black Ghost, the producer. But currently, uh, it's very very much at the ground level. I've got less than 1,000 followers on every single one of my platforms. So the goal is, matter of fact, I had less than 100 followers on my Instagram on my third movement production side of the Instagram because I got a couple of different Instagrams, one for personal, one for music, and then I had one for my motorcycle. But we'll see how that goes. Um, uh, I've had so essentially I'm just starting from ground zero. I'm trying to make sure that I'm doing and following all the right processes, all the right steps to do what it is that I set out to do. And like I said, what I set out to do is become a major artist, a major producer for artists in the mainstream or whatever you want to call it. But the thing is, my sound is different. I feel like I'm coming up like, you know, pretty close to Pharrell and Timbaland when it comes to just having different sounds and different vibes. And I like my vibe. I dig my vibe. Um, you might like it. I hope you do. If you don't, move on. I mean, it's not for everybody. Not everything is for everybody, and I understand that. I'm trying to essentially take that into consideration when I'm, dropping anything musically, and understand that not everybody's going to get it at first. They might not even get it at second, but a lot of times Even in our everyday lives, we find ourselves bopping our head to music that we say that we hate just because it's played over and over and over again, and you start to get used to it. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for my sound, that you hear it so much, you just kind of get used to the sound, you appreciate the sound for what it is, and that it is different, and hopefully we can take off from there. So um, that's the end of this first little blurb of a introduction. I'll probably round this off with some of my beats at the end, and you guys let me know what you think. Until then, peace.